testa solo, Tevez al limite dell'area, li fa fuori tutti, Tevez, si apre la porta, Tevez, gol, da dietro, Pirlo dentro, gol.
Hey Juventini, welcome back to the All Juve Cast channel, of course, where it's all Juve all the time. We're coming off the 3-1 victory against Maccabi in Champions League. Okay, we're going to have some fun. We're going to recap it. We're going to review it. And yes, I am solo today, okay, but that's not going to stop us from having fun. Unfortunately, schedules are conflicting and whatnot, and sometimes this season I've had to come on solo, but it's actually been great because it's been a good opportunity to interact much more with the live chat, which is always absolutely on fire. So I look forward to that taking place today. I'm going to remind everybody that's listening to this on their audio outlets on the podcast, head over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, okay, because there's a lot more in terms of content. And we got to see a great little YouTube short from Omer, who was at the match yesterday and whatnot. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel for daily update videos, match day lives, getting prep for matches, having fun with predictions, and interacting as we get hyped up for the games. And then, of course, you could see some little extras like today's AJC tweet of the match. We'll get to all that further on. I want to say what's up to everybody in the live chat, and we'll see what the general feeling is coming out of this game real early on here. So we've got Jeremiah coming in here. Di Maria is a special player, man of the match. Rabiot was solid yet again, fast becoming the engine and leader of this team. Vlahovic, extremely wasteful. A hat trick was in the bag. Thank God for Di Maria. Wow, okay, so a lot of stuff that we're definitely going to get into a little bit later on the show here, Jeremiah. So great stuff. Vito coming in here saying, good morning, fellas. Decent performance. Tech looking terrible on that goal. We'll talk about all of this, you guys. Yeah, Dusan was extremely in front of goal. He needs to be way more ruthless and clinical. Angel is something else, a class apart. Chiesa would have scored a hat trick if he was in there. That coming in from Suarez. Anthony saying, buongiorno Juventini, glad we got the win, but must continue to improve and work hard. Dusan said after the game, we must put our heads down and work in silence. That is the mentality of a killer. So mentality of his is not in question. However, I've been saying for a while, and it looks like people are starting to come around and see what I was seeing, which is he's got opportunities in front of him that I expect others to be burying, putting in that same position. And if he wants to be one of these poachers, one of these strikers, these elites, he's getting opportunities that he's got to bag. Still though, he is good. He is good, and he's going to grow, and he's going to always continue to improve and whatnot. But his mentality, not in question. All right, everybody. Ciao tutti. I'm going to remind you all while you're here to like the video. Of course, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. What more do you need? We're a group of Juventini that love it. We've started this channel through passion and whatnot, and we continue to grow the AJC army. So join up with our AJC army. We talked about Omar's clips yesterday. You would have seen a couple other YouTube shorts, and if you follow us on other outlets like Instagram or TikTok, which just fired up recently, you would see that we've started something new here, and I want to open this up to everybody before we get into this game. It is now, if you or someone you know or are just an acquaintance through social media are going to be at the Juventus matches, we are asking you to reach out to us and share that experience, because this is an opportunity that I wanted to create to allow all of you, which are so great and have been so kind to us in your support of the channel, to actually be part of our social media channels and our YouTube channel and share your videos, your clips of your experience at Juventus matches. Okay, so that kicked off just recently, yesterday being the few, and I've actually got more video footage that's being sent to me and photos and everything. So we are definitely going to have a lot of fun with this and look forward to all the footage you can provide and be part of our channel. All right, so fantastic stuff that kicked off yesterday, and we just want to keep it rolling. Okay, so if you or someone you know is going to be at Juve matches, make sure you reach out to us. All right, now let's get to this, okay? We've got 3-1 Juventus victory against Maccabi. However, it wasn't as comfortable as that scoreline would suggest. There was a moment again in the second half where it got very, very interesting. And again, these moments where we need to be clinical come into question. Real quick news coming out of today. There's not a whole lot coming out of that match yesterday, and not a lot of news in general today. DeCilio has a muscle lesion. Sorry, he's going to be out for about 10 days. Okay, but I wouldn't have expected him to start against Milan anyways, so it's not going to be super critical. Milik's status is a bit more important with the fact that Di Maria is going to be still serving his suspension against Milan. And Milik, we'll be watching closely to see if he can get in there from the get-go against Milan. Milan themselves dealing with a lot of injuries. And we will also talk about preparations for the Milan match a little bit later on in the show, okay? But we're going to get into this starting lineup and whatnot going into this Maccabi match, quickly go through highlights, and then get into all the aftermath, okay? So essentially, we've got Szczesny, Cuadrado, Bremer, Danilo, DeCilio at the back. We had McKennie, Paredes, Rabiot, and Kostic making up the midfield with Di Maria and Vlahovic up top, okay? Played out more as a 4-3-3, and honestly, the biggest thing for us, and I agreed with it in the Matchday Live, talking about what Allegri was saying, which was the mentality, the approach, the attitude, all of that had to change. I will say this, in terms of attitude, I thought that the team came out very similar to Bologna and whatnot. And in the start of the game, we could have been up very, very early again. Vlahovic and some of the finishing comes into question, but he did force a great stop 10 minutes in, okay? After Cuadrado fed him coming into the area, about 5 step overs, and then finally dished it off. Vlahovic trying to sneak it in far post, forced a really, really good save. Couple moments later, though, Vlahovic gets another opportunity after working with Kostic, and this one he does absolutely awful with. And this is one of those opportunities. The ball's coming across to him. He's got an open cage, staring at an open cage. He did well to create the space and everything. Kostic did well to find him. He's got to put that one in my personal opinion. At least an opportunity on target, at least force a save, something. And he actually muffed the shot completely, and it just dribbled and rolled out of bounds. So we've got to do a little bit better there. Again, we'll talk more on Vlahovic a little bit later. 35th minute is where we get it right. And right about as the whistles and jeers were going to come in from the Juventini at the stadium, Cuadrado, very, very fortunate that his pass gets through because it was a bad pass. Rabiot still gets to Rabiot. Rabiot works a give and go with Di Maria. Di Maria with a perfectly weighted ball, and Rabiot scores. Okay, Rabiot breaking his drought of 50 games. Okay, so he scores his first in 50 games to make it 1-0 for Juventus. The halftime whistle comes upon us. We're up 1-0. Okay, second half, we got to put these guys away. You want to get the job sealed. We get off to a perfect start. Bremer cuts one out in our area, finds Di Maria, and Di Maria finds Vlahovic with, again, a really, really nice through ball. And Vlahovic does well this time. He also does well even to hold up his run just to stay on. As you see the strides and the steps shorten up real quick, waiting for that ball, and then gone. And he does very, very well to wait it out and then put it past the keeper. 2-0 up. 63rd minute, another great finish and great through ball. Di Maria to Vlahovic, and Vlahovic does perfectly on this one, working it around the keeper, putting it in, but then we get the offside, unfortunately, okay? And then you've got 74th minute. Again, we should be smooth sailing, 2-0 and whatnot, but let up. Keane comes into the game. 74th minute, a Keane shot gets blocked, and Maccabi goes basically right back at us, straight through the middle. Locatelli tried to win the ball. He could not, and the ball gets beyond Bremer. Szczesny on this one, I didn't see anybody arguing this, but he simply, if you're going to come out that far, Szczesny is miles out of goal. If you're going to come out that far, you better be 120% confident that you are going to get that ball. And Szczesny does not. And the substitute for Maccabi ends up putting it past him and then putting it in the net. Now, all of a sudden, things get interesting. They also come right back 6 minutes later, hitting the post on a free kick. I do think Szczesny was there to parry it or block it away after that, okay? However, again, post still hit. 2 minutes later, though, Rabiot, after getting his first in 50 games, gets to a header off a Di Maria corner kick and puts it in 3-1, and that's got to seal it. However, Maccabi still hits a post after that. Azizli there was playing out of his mind, really. Big impact for them. But 3-1, job done. Okay, we got the win. All right. So were there mistakes? Was there a little bit of let up? Second half, we allowed that team to really build up that sense of belief in themselves. I don't like that. We need to step on throats, seal things off, and finish that. However, ultimately, this one was a must win. Had to get the job done. Got the job done. Worry about the details. Worry about the let up and cleaning all that up. Look on to Milan. There's still a lot of work to do in Champions League, and we're going to get into all that and the aftermath here. Overall, my thoughts on this game, we need to be more clinical, and that's one of the things that comes up. Sometimes creating opportunities is an issue for Juventus. In this one, there was space. We were taking advantage of them. They were doing a good job. But again, you have to be more clinical. Maccabi should have never been within striking distance of Juventus in this game, if we're being completely honest. However, was there positives and whatnot? Sure. There was a little bit more swag with Di Maria in the lineup. It took a bit for him to get going, took a bit for the team to get going, but they started to find lanes and avenues to hurt Maccabi. Unfortunately, again, the finishing wasn't there, but they were doing well in terms of creation and getting those opportunities. Second half, I still don't want to see those drop-offs in focus and attitude and approach. They just get a little too comfortable, a little too early. Okay. But again, we got the job done. Now it's on to Milan, which is another crucial one. Okay. Man of the match. We're going to talk man of the match. Who was everybody's man of the match? Obviously, Di Maria, 3 assists, fantastic game. I would assume everybody's going to go with Di Maria. Di Maria winning the official man of the match. Obviously, he's on the title of this particular episode on the cover page. Di Maria. Di Maria. I will say Rabiot should be in that discussion as well. Rabiot had one hell of a match. If you look at him statistically, he won 10 out of 11 duels. He added 3 out of 4 aerial duel victories. He scored 2 goals. He's definitely right there next to Di Maria in this one. Probably one of the best games Rabiot's played. And we're going to get into the players themselves and whatnot. Man of the match, I think it's Di Maria or Rabiot, and I'm fine if you pick either one of them. And a question coming in from Jeremiah, other than Di Maria, Rabiot was another man of the match. Absolutely. There you go. And Angel, 100%, no goals without him. He is only creative player, salary well spent. There you go. So Di Maria or Rabiot, we're fine there. Now, said we were going to have some fun today, everybody. We're going to have some fun. The AJC tweet of the match. So we've covered the performance, the man of the match, and then we'll talk more about individuals and players and whatnot. But first, we're going to have some fun. AJC tweet of the match. Let's see what was kind of out there, and we'll let you, the viewers, select who the winner of the AJC tweet of the match was. All right. So let's get to the first one. This one I just found funny because after the goal that I mentioned that was ruled off by offside, you see this new technology video style interpretation of showing you the offside. And I just think it's funny because it looked so strange to me. So strange. But here's the first one. And it's pretty just what the F is this? What the F is this? I found it hilarious with these images and whatnot, making the players look like they're crash test dummies and whatnot to show the offside or whatnot. So this one just made me laugh. This is the one we could probably thank, and this is our friend Nicholas on Twitter and whatnot, and obviously member of the Calcio guys, who we love, and they love our show as well. He probably got it all going with this tweet right there. Di Maria looks worse now than Bernardeschi ever did with Juve, but y'all aren't ready to have that conversation. This is a perfect tweet that aged very, very well as Di Maria bags 3 assists and starting almost immediately after this tweet. And Nicholas never heard the end of it. So this one made me laugh. And I told him I was going to put him on blast for this one. Okay. The other one would be this one from Lex, made me laugh. Okay. There is no way. 9.22 goals. Just this, I could sense the sheer disbelief at what she was seeing, whatnot. So that was funny. This one is great. Okay, so we've had tweet 1, tweet 2, tweet 3, tweet 4. This one made me laugh a lot. And obviously, just due to the sizing of the images and whatnot, it's clearly Di Maria with his MVP award for the match, man of the match award as the 4th. This is pretty funny and really made me laugh. So there you have it. There's your 4 tweets. I'll go back again. You've got tweet 1, laughing at these images. You've got tweet 2 at Nick. You've got tweet 3 over here with Lex. And you've got tweet 4 over here with Seva. So let's get the votes in here. Let's pick the AJC tweet of the match. And then we will share the victor on Twitter and all our channels there. But let's see. What do we have? Where are the votes standing here? Come on. Let's see. I'm going to think for me, it's between, it's going to be between, it's going to be between Nick because of just how poorly this aged and then this as well. So yeah, probably one of these two. One of these two. Let's get some votes in here. Seva, Vito's laughing at Seva's there. We might have to give him the victory here. Okay. Vito again, just stress it. Seva, there you go. There you go. We'll wait for some more votes roll in here, but that might be it. That might be the tweet of the match. Now, everybody, let's get to the goods coming out of this one. Talking points and whatnot, player performances and everything. So we spoke in quite a bit leading up to this game. We got another vote there. There you go. There you go. I think it's the victor. Okay, let's just say it. Let's just say it. That's it. That's the one right there. Okay, we'll tweet that out. So spoke a lot of great length when we had Szczesny returning from injury, and we had Perin obviously being September's man of the match. One key point for me that I was going to bring up today is that for me, Perin is our starting keeper. I don't care much about salary. I don't care about years with the club. I don't care much about any of that. It comes down to performances. And I said leading into this one, and just, hey, Tech's our starting keeper. There was people saying Tech's our starting keeper, and Anthony and I disagreed on this particular topic because he said, no, Tech's our starting keeper. You shouldn't lose your spot due to injury. And I said, here's the thing. Tech is not mistake prone, but he has blips. He has blips. Pitting, we've seen a lot less, if any, real standout errors from Pitting. And he was our MVP heading into the string of matches. October, because of what we've accomplished in September, which was very, very poor in terms of results, basically, we've left ourselves little wiggle room. You don't change that. And I will stand behind this. Maybe Pitting doesn't stop that one. But I find it hard to believe that he would make it that easy, especially with a defender that's contesting that ball still. Again, it's just that moment, that situation, that decision. Again, not saying that player still wouldn't have scored or done something, but Bremer was, again, on him. And I don't think Pitting makes that error. And that allowed Maccabi even more faith in trying to pull something, even a draw out of this game. So for me, if you have a team and you're trying to get the wheels rolling in the right situation, whatnot. And I'm not being too hard on Tech just for that error, whatnot. But for me, you don't have an issue. Don't open up. Don't open up one. Okay. Hey, I get it. You're back from injury. We'll work you in and whatnot. But, you've got to get back into that. And he'll have his moments. He'll have his matches. But the big ones, if a guy's playing like that, like Pedin was and whatnot, you just keep it going. And it also opens up that competition between players in positions. And you need that. You need that. That's healthy for a team. You absolutely have to have that competition. And I just don't like it when things are just given and players almost get this entitlement to roles and positions like it's just a given. Yeah, I'm the guy. Like I'll be back and I'll be playing in there. I don't really like that. There should be competition for positions across team. That's just how I feel. Now we're going to see how the live chat kind of feels, if they agree with me or not. So Jason coming in here saying, I agree with you, Mattia Perin should have been left to keep as number one. His form has been unreal. So there you go. So I'd saying, let's be honest, that was a phenomenal through ball by their captain, Shitty. Absolutely. The through ball was great, but it doesn't change the fact that Bremer is still right on the player's tail. And he's right there. If Tech comes out, as nice as a through ball is, it still doesn't change the fact if a keeper is going to come out beyond 22 yards, he better be damn sure he's getting the ball. That does not change. Does not change. Vito saying, yes, I agree with you, Al. If you do get hurt, then yes, you still lose your spot, such as life in sports. And I don't think it just has to do with the injury. Again, just comes down to the performances and where the team is at. If the team's struggling or nothing changes and Perin was just playing, average, okay, Tech can come in. You go back to Tech, no problems. But at the level he was playing, I think you keep Perin going. It's just something that I feel about and think about. That's all. Fea's coming in saying, Alberto, do we still missing something in this team? If you were able to change Juve, where would you start? This is a very, very good question. Is there something still missing? I think there's still that level, of threat at fullback position. I truly, truly do believe it. If you get one serious game breaker at a fullback position, that could be the next piece. In terms of the midfield, when we get the midfield right, it's pretty good. We're not far off in the midfield, to be honest, in my personal opinion. But there's still just a couple pieces. But again, we might have those pieces. Just got to get him healthy. Let's wait and see. But a fullback, without question, has to be brought into this team. Maybe even in the winter mercado. But we'll see what happens. See what happens. Okay. I just want to say one of my touching points was Perin. Perin is the guy for me. Now, the game plan itself. Do any of you feel, like the game plan is a little one-dimensional? We see Di Maria coming back into action for this Champions League game. And did it feel forced for much of it? Like we were just trying to find him and allowing him to just be that creator and just make something happen. Did it feel like that was forced at all, or did you think it was good in terms of team playing with him being that creator? For me, honestly, Di Maria did great, but I've also seen the matches where he's struggled and we forced to him, try to find him and just rely on him being that first piece in terms of what evolves from the team. And I think this team in general, whether Di Maria is in or Di Maria is out, seems to have this issue with balancing how they want to attack. And again, I do still believe this stems from one of the things Allegri's been heavily criticized for this season. He was also criticized for it in the year 18-19 when he was basically fired at the end of it. And that's just that there's not a lot in terms of set design and structure offensively. So I think any way you slice it, we're going to fall into these traps where we become predictable. Saying that the talent is going to help and Di Maria coming in there and whatnot, obviously you need your key guys and you need your star players to be star players and impact games and whatnot. But you also can't be one dimensional for the matches where it just doesn't work for those players, because sometimes that will happen. And sometimes teams will build game plans. That's right, our opponents, because there's always two teams on the pitch. If our opponents rule a guy out, you need to have that backup and you need to have that team play. I still need to see more solidity and unity and cohesion with everybody working together. There were moments in yesterday's game where that showed and it worked. But overall, I think there's still much, much more work to do in bringing the team together and still allowing those star players to be those star players and thrive. And honestly, like I said, that first goal, before that came, the whistles and the jeerings were starting to come, and Di Maria wasn't doing much. And then after that, obviously, it turned. But we could do much, much better. RB Comp's already getting into Milan. Have a handful of injuries, no excuses. We'll get to Milan, my friend. We will get to Milan. I want to remind everybody, please take a minute to like the video while you're here, okay? If you're new, subscribe to the channel, whatnot. We're going to get to some more talking points here. Di Maria, nonetheless, fantastic game, okay? Fantastic game. 3 assists. That brings him to 38 total in Champions League. He's 4 behind Cristiano Ronaldo for the all-time lead. And honestly, what's wild is if you take a look at how many matches Di Maria has in the Champions League and where he's at in the assist thing in terms of minutes played versus Ronaldo and even Messi, who he just surpassed, because it's just less than half of the minutes that those guys have put in the Champions League, if I'm not mistaken. So it's pretty wild. Massive props to Paredes there. Or sorry, Di Maria. Paredes is the next guy I want to talk to. After this match, I received about 4 or 5 DMs from Juventini and whatnot asking me my thoughts on Paredes. So I want to ask all of you right now in the live to give me your thoughts on Paredes so far and Paredes yesterday in that match. Okay. And while we wait for some Paredes comments to come in here in the live chat, I just want to focus on some of the other items everyone's talking about here. Cuadrado would have been better on the bench. Cuadrado continues this season to show me why it's time. It is time to say goodbye. Okay. Cuadrado has just had a poor start to this year. And honestly, like I said, he found Dusan Vlahovic on one opportunity earlier on. He had our goal, that the first one where Rabiot scored. It was a piss poor pass, if we're being honest, from Juan Cuadrado, and should have easily been cut out by that defender. We were extremely fortunate that defender didn't cut that one out and get it out of there. So, yeah, Cuadrado, I agree with the comments coming in about Cuadrado. RB Comps loved Cuadrado, but it's over. That's right. It is. Now, Paredes. RB Comp saying poor to average, okay, in terms of Paredes. And Amesh saying Paredes is a great complement to a functioning midfield. He can't make a difference by himself. Okay. Swarit saying Paredes is very good as a regista. Locatelli should be the right midfield with Rabiot as the left midfielder. Okay. Jeremiah saying Paredes was good, but unfortunately, he couldn't rely on McKennie. McKennie was awful again. All right. So here's my thoughts on Paredes. So I thought yesterday was a very, very safe and low effort performance from Paredes. He was not good, didn't do anything great, and he wasn't bad. It's just very, very safe. I don't see this massive change in having Paredes there versus Locatelli. I actually see Locatelli being stronger defensively than Paredes, to be honest, positionally. In terms where Paredes has to win the ball and battle for challenges, he does quite well. But, he moved around very little as far as being options in certain moments. There was moments he could have, rushed there, got there a bit quicker, tried to be that option, and he really wasn't doing it. 62 touches, that's pretty much been the average for our regista this season, even last season. 60 to 70 touches is where our registas kind of land. He was the same there. Didn't get dispossessed a lot, had a high passing percentage, but again, those passes were very, very safe. And Locatelli got hit and lashed out at by some fans criticizing him. We then found out he was playing through injury and whatnot, but I don't see this massive gap or change between Paredes and Locatelli, to be honest. And defensively, I actually think Locatelli is above Paredes because a lot of the things Paredes has to do defensively are to save opportunities and chances and whatnot. And that's usually because Locatelli is in the right position ahead of time defensively. But he has his faults too. They all do. In terms of what we usually are rating these registas for, well, not us, but there's a lot of people that look at Locatelli, look at Paredes now and saying, where are these vertical passes? Where is all this game-changing thing from our regista? It's not going to happen, guys. We just don't play that game. We don't. If you looking for these through balls, these aerial long balls, these it's not gonna really happen because we don't play that game. We play a game where we try to break the lines in the middle, find our one source of creation, and go from there. That's what we do. That's what we do. If you watch training sessions, and I've seen that one live, I go back to it all the time. You could see clear as day. If you look at all the game film from all the games we've played this season, that is what we look to do. We look to break the lines and then move ahead with that one player and look at our avenues, either coming up the wing, going up the side. That's what we're trying to do. And it's the same. It's the same all the way through. It's just we're not going to get this game-breaking play out of there. But again, between the two of them, I don't see this huge change between Paredes and Locatelli, having Paredes in there all the time. Is he a good player? Sure, he's a good player. Is he extraordinary in that spot or whatnot? Not really. Not really. So I don't know. Would we have been better off to keep Rovella around and use Rovella as a change-up to Locatelli? Well, here's the thing. Everybody's saying now Locatelli needs to be the right midfielder. At least until Pogba comes back, you have Rabiot, Paredes, and Locatelli. This seems to be the general consensus on the midfield and how we should operate moving forward. I'm going to ask all of you, is that your midfield preferred? Okay, is that your preferred midfield moving forward until Pogba comes back? We'll see. Let's get B1897 to weigh in here on Paredes. Paredes is just mediocre since he came. Should attempt more vertical passes and more passes overall. For sure, he brought a new dimension to our midfield, but he does not stand out from the rest. I think that's a fair assessment. And again, in terms of these vertical passes and whatnot, there's just not a lot of opportunity there for these guys to do that in how we play. We do need to start to mix it up, and we do need to find those. Maybe, just maybe, when Chiesa comes back, he'll be the guy that can offer some of those opportunities for these guys to find those vertical passes and whatnot. We will see. Jeremiah saying now, Paredes saved us with a flying header to block a Maccabi shot on goal. If we conceded, we would have been in trouble. Yeah, but he had to do that after stumbling up and being out of position, coming back, trying to win that ball back. So it's, again, it's a bit twofold. That dive there to block the shot, fantastic. I appreciate the effort and commend the effort that he gave in doing that. Exceptional block. It was. But again, overall, Paredes has not elevated us or lifted us to anything much better. That's just my opinion. Can it change? Of course it can change. Does he need better players around him? We'll see. McKennie. Everybody's talking about McKennie. McKennie, again, simply anonymous in this game. It just isn't working. It just isn't working. He can't find ways to get an impact, get involved. Um, I see a lot of struggles with him in terms of position, just positional struggles, especially once the ball gets out to the flank. He seems to just um, he just runs away. He moves too far forward to be an option. He's usually moving ahead of whoever's playing fullback at that moment, whether it be Danilo, whether it be Quadrado. He just moves ahead of them, and he's literally behind one of the opposition players. And it's just like, we cannot find you the ball there, McKennie. And it's frustrating. It's very, very frustrating. There's no other way around it. McKennie has not been very useful to us. So he's got to step it up. He has got to step it up. Dells, there's a great player in Rabiot. It's just a case of getting him out. My statement on Adrien Rabiot is very simple coming out of this game, and this was before. I've been saying this for a while too. He has his role. He has his game that can be very, very useful and make a big impact for Juventus. He's physical. He can win balls. We talked about the numbers in this game for Rabiot. Fantastic game. Hell, he found 2 goals. He won 10 out of 11 duels, winning the ball for us a ton of times, 3 out of 4 aerially. He just had a solid game. He had same amount of touches, I think a little bit more than Paredes in the middle of the park there. So he was very much involved. He had a great game. For me, the statement as far as Rabiot goes is very, very simple. The only problem with Rabiot, the only problem with it is his salary. It's his salary. That is it. If people want to talk about his game, what he brings, and everything like that, he is a good midfielder. He is. He is. He has his role. He can fulfill it. If we're looking for him to be anything more like this 10 goal scoring midfielder, this all this creator or whatnot like that ain't him. That's not his game. But he showed he can impact. He showed us he can make impacts to game. He can find goals here and there. He can create havoc. He's got an engine. Okay. He is in great physical shape. He's always available. The only issue with Adrien Rabiot is his salary. I continue to ask this question because we love hypotheticals around here on the All Juve cast. If he were to accept an extension, okay, at a lowered salary, would you accept him staying Juventini? I'm going to leave that for the live here to get their answers in here because for me, if he would accept, and this is the part where everybody comments, he won't accept. His mother, who's his agent, will not accept lower pay and whatnot. Deepak coming in here immediately saying yes. The only problem, Dell's saying no brainer. It's a yes. It's a yes. If we were able to sign him to an extension at a lower salary, it would have to be a yes based on what he's given us. Now, there are some fears that he's just playing this way because it's leading into a World Cup and he's on a contract year. Hey, that's a possibility or whatnot. But you still can't take away that when it comes down pound for pound in the midfield of guys doing their job, he has consistently this season done his job for Juventus. And he's done it at a pretty solid level. He's also reaching years that could be peak years for him. So it's a tough one. I know my man Lou is going to hate this segment of the show and doesn't want to hear any of this and what I'm saying. But I'm telling you, the only problem with him, other than his mom, the only problem with Adrien Rabiot is the salary. Okay. The salary. How much salary that we accept? So what would be a salary that we would accept. Honestly, I would say for him, based on our pay structure and where everybody is, yeah, you're somewhere around the 4 to 5 mil is where he should be, not the 7.5, and bonus or whatnot. That's way too much. It's got to be cut close to half, slightly over. Yeah, so is what it is though. We wait and see, but it seems that everybody's pretty much agree there. So 3.5 to 4 mil from Vito. I think 3.5 is a tough sell there. Yeah, I would expect 4.5 somewhere in there, but yeah, we will see. We'll see. Interesting though that majority of the live seem to agree. I know Lou's gonna hate that, but it is what it is. Let's talk quickly about the group. We saw that Benfica and PSG had drawn. Okay. So they got the draw 1-1. This has many feeling that now that's over. You needed PSG to win, whatnot, but I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way at all. So much can change. So much can still happen. Okay. So with the 1-1 there, obviously PSG, Benfica, they will sit there at 7 points. Juventus now at 3. Next week, we will have the return match against Maccabi in Israel, of course. Got to be a win. We know we got to win these two against Maccabi. We've known that before these results. Depending on what happens with PSG Benfica, it's still far from over. Okay. Benfica will then, of course, we still play Benfica and we still play PSG. We have to win next week against Maccabi. We have to win against Benfica. We have to beat Benfica and we have to do it in Portugal. So it's going to be very, very difficult. So it's still a lot of work on our own part before we factor in, the help that we would need. But it's far from over. Far from over. Benfica's last game is against Maccabi and it's away from home. It's in Israel. Maccabi's given all three of these teams, Juve, PSG, and Benfica, problems and not been a pushover by any means. So in Israel, things could change. Things could change. First, let's take it one game at a time. Let's get our stuff handled. Okay, let's get the wins we need. Otherwise, none of this will even matter. So we start next week, and then let's just wait and see. Because depending on what PSG and Benfica, what happens in their next match, things could get very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, far from over, though. Far from over, though. And I wouldn't be surprised. Just like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Benfica pulled something out of one of these PSG matches. Wasn't surprised with the draw yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised if Maccabi pulls something in that last game against Benfica in the group stage. And again, it's all up to us. It's all up to us. But, we still have PSG coming at home. We need to get hot. We need to take care of our own games. Who knows what can happen in Turin against PSG? I know. Tough ask. And hell of a team you're up against. And giving up, surrendering talent, whatnot. But you just never know on Champions League nights. You just never know. So one game at a time. One game at a time. All right. Let's see here. So Jeremiah saying I'm hoping for a PSG win or another draw between them and Benfica. I believe we can win all our remaining games. We can beat both PSG and Benfica. I truly believe. I believe as well. Hey, we're our own worst enemy. But again, if you don't believe, well, hey, believing is free. It's easy. It's easy to be optimistic. It's easy to have hope. It's up to the team to get the job done. One game at a time, everybody. One game at a time. Chiesa comes back for that Benfica game, and then we have him for PSG too. Things could get interesting. Pogba comes back. Just wait. Just take it one game at a time, everybody. Okay, one game at a time. Speaking of one game at a time, Milan coming up this weekend. Okay, that's going to be a big one, obviously. And I want to remind everybody, while I get into kind of preview Milan and we'll get our thoughts here, start dropping your Storm the Barn questions, okay? Because it's one of the great times to do it, especially when I'm solo, okay? And it's just us in this, and we can get a hell of a lot closer here between all of us. Get those Storm the Barn questions, okay? Let's get in there. Milan this weekend. We know that they're dealing with a lot of absentees. We don't know exactly who is going to be back for them, when not. For us, Di Maria still faces suspension. We're waiting on Milik to see how he goes. It was being rumored, about a week ago that Chiesa could be in the lineup, not starting or whatnot, but on the bench. Now we're hearing it's going to be later on this month, probably around 21st or 25th. Outside of that, still Pogba. We're waiting on Deschilio now, just recently added to it, okay? But in terms of AC Milan, you've got Kjaer out, Ibrahimovic, Florenzi, Calabria, Hernandez, Macias, and Salamakers. I don't know who is all coming back, but I don't care. All right? So regardless of who's in there for them, Juventus needs to continue to work with their heads down and in silence, like Dusan has reiterated, like Max Allegri has been saying. They need to continue to work in that manner, okay? And they just need to basically focus on themselves, because like I said before, we are our own worst enemy, okay? So I'm not so worried about Milan. I'm worried about Juventus. What Juventus are we going to see? Max spoke about a team that seems to look like they can get nervous and lose their heads after conceding against Maccabi. That's what he didn't like. He didn't like how we finished the game, even though we scored that goal through Rabiot. Again, quickly allowed them to come back, allowed them to get another great opportunity in which they hit the post. He was very, very upset. He was infuriated by it. You could see it on the replays. You could see it on live when they broke to him, and he was absolutely livid, and rightfully so. They need to shake that. And this is why I say we can talk about these other teams. We could talk about Milan, these injuries, whatever, no excuses. There really isn't any excuses anyways, because Juventus is capable of more than what we're seeing. It's a matter of putting it all together, okay? There are multiple areas that we need work in: mentality, organization, structure, performances, cohesion, everything, obviously. But the biggest thing is this team has got to believe. And when they concede, they need to have the toughness to just pick up that ball, get it back to center, and go. You don't want to see head down. Body language is a big thing. And when you watch this Juventus, the body language isn't and hasn't been consistent. And that shows you that there's work to be done, okay? But in terms of this Milan one, a big, big match. Juve's got to win this. October in Serie A, 4 out of 5 have to be wins for Juventus. The Milan one would be a massive, massive boost in this month, which is going to be very, very crucial for Juventus, okay? So this one coming up this weekend is going to be big. Storm the barn. Let's get into this. First, I like this from Jeremiah. Milan is very vulnerable right now. We should take advantage and destroy them. Yes, we should always destroy them anyways. Let's go. Come on, I'm with you. Now, let's see here. RB comps. Do you believe Max can completely save his job? So, first storm the barn we're coming at is going to be with Max. Can he completely save his job? Yeah. Obviously, his job right now, we talked about this on the Match Day Live yesterday, and Anthony and I both agreed that if he was going to be let go, it would have happened by now. It would have already happened, okay? And I don't believe right now the intentions are to get rid of Max at the moment. I don't know if they're looking at anything for the end of the season, because all of a sudden the talks about Max have just completely shut down in terms of him leaving or Juventus possible options and everything like that. So could have been one of those moments where you just, the media, tabloids, all this, it's the time to strike. It's the time to get that engagement and reach, and you hit it. Can Max completely save his job, though, and just crush any of the fans' desires to get rid of him? It would take a lot. First of all, the results. We've got to get positive results. We need to go on a run. We need to basically compete. We need to beat some top teams. He needs to get results against top teams. Last season, he didn't manage any against top 4 winning sides. This team needs to grow. They need to show that they're progressing. They need to show that they're moving forward and evolving and start to succeed and start to get results. The sense of belief, the mentality is a big thing, because if we're getting results, if we're squeaking by, but this team isn't necessarily playing strong or growing, I think it's still going to shine a negative light in terms of Max. But he might not have necessarily a job to save, because they might not necessarily be even looking to move him. Nedved said basically yesterday that there was never for a moment any doubt about Max or getting rid of him. Nedved's also got a bad track record over the past couple of years of things he's said about players and even Max dating back to 18-19 and whatnot. And then they're shortly after they are gone. Saw that with Dybala. Saw this with De Ligt. You saw a number of instances where this happened. Okay, so maybe that was the kiss of death from Pavel himself, saying that there's never any doubt there in Max. But Max has to get this team playing strong and believing in themselves, and he needs his key guys to be thriving. If we have guys like Vlahovic who are frustrating and not succeeding and not getting goals, and he can't have that. That's going to be catastrophic for him. Any of our core guys, Chiesa, once involved and once able to play minutes from the start or whatnot, has to be thriving. If he has our key guys, Locatelli, all this Locatelli in doubt and all this and criticisms facing him, he's got to get Locatelli playing well too. All of our core guys need to play well. At the time when we were going through poor results and you start hearing about guys like Bremer, who's a newcomer, not understanding what Max is wanting from the team and whatnot, you can't have any of that. That's going to be crucial for Max. Have the players on his side, get results, okay? And no more dropping matches to lower sides for sure. And he's got to beat some of the top clubs. He's got to have all those aspects to it, okay? And then we'll see what happens. Should we play 3-5-2 against Milan? Dusan and Milik up top, Kostic, Cuadrado as wingbacks. Your thoughts? So for me, if Milik's in, I would have him in at the start. And I think if you're going to play a two-man setup for Juve, I know Max is probably going to want to go with a 4-4-2 that's a bit hybrid in terms of one of those. You end up with a midfielder that's playing as an outside. I don't like it. And then you have Kostic that's just bombing up the other side. I don't really like it. 3-5-2, a lot more natural and cleaner. So I would say yes to 3-5-2 with Dusan and Milik up top, because if Milik's healthy, the form he's in, he needs to play up there. No Di Maria in either is another reason. Make it happen in the middle of the park. I would like to see Moretti to help support the two forwards and have some dynamic play and creation out of the middle of the pitch. Maybe, just maybe, you can go with Locatelli, Rabiot, and Paredes. But I'm not, and I haven't been in line with everybody's thoughts on Locatelli being this box-to-box that can move forward and provide this creation, whatnot. I don't think he's the guy. That's just me. But I would say yes to a 3-5-2 against that. Vito saying, Milan and Juve both have injuries. How do you like our chance? I love our chances. Juventus can beat any of the clubs they play against. Again, we are just, over these past few years, I've said it nonstop, we are our own worst enemy. All this talk about our roster and all this and lacking quality, lacking this, and look, there are squads out there that give us fits, that give other top team fits, and they surrender quality all the time. Okay? And again, it just comes up to getting that team play, getting that sense of belief, that swagger back, and building confidence and building momentum and just keeping it rolling. The quality that we have is not poor by any means. This is still a good roster, even missing some of these guys. So, yeah, I love our chances. And I expect a victory. this weekend in Milan. I do. I really, really do. Okay. Everybody, quick reminder again, get those likes up. All right. Take a second, like this video, please. Okay. Let's get it. It all helps. It all helps. Now let's keep it rolling with Storm the Barn. You guys have been great. We got a ton here. I want to say shout out to Dom Chow, Dom from Australia. When do you think Chiesa will be back? We talked about this a little bit earlier. It's about October 21st to 25th is roughly when he should be back, Dom, okay? And we're all keeping tabs on that one. Can't wait to get Chiesa back. By the way, speaking of Chiesa, just picked up this little beauty. So I recently got back into card collecting, okay? A hobby I haven't been into since I was about, 11 to 13 years old or whatnot. But I just picked up this little beauty of Mr. Federico Chiesa Origins card, numbered, okay? Numbered 23 of 99. Just missed the 22 that matches his number on that card. Anthony, our good friend Anthony from the channel, says it's worth more value when you can match the numbers to the numbers the players wear. I didn't know that, but it's a sweet, sweet card. Okay, I've got some great Chiesa stuff. Oh, yeah. Actually, just picked up the rated rookie, and this one's slabbed up very nicely. Got a 10 rating from PSA, which is mint. 10 is tops. Pretty cool stuff. But yeah, if anybody's into that, lovely, lovely. But yeah, I am collecting Chiesa, banking on our boy there, Juventini. Okay. Now, without further ado, storm the barn and keep them coming. If you got more questions, keep them coming, everybody. All right, your thoughts. It's good to see the team trusting Max again, and vice versa. Trust is a two-way street. This changes many things, especially our confidence. Agreed? Question mark. This is the reason that I said after Monza and all the turmoil, all the commotion that went down, why you had to make a change. It was when you start to hear about the players and this whole mess that's going on in the locker room. Start hearing about Agnelli coming down there, Nedved coming down there, and Bonucci and Allegri going at it and all this. And you're thinking, my God, how do you turn this around when the play, on top of it, the play has been so abysmal. So abysmal. When you had all that going on, I thought there was no way he could turn this thing around. And I will say this, with these two victories, it still technically hasn't been completely turned around. However, there has been a shift there, okay? And what you're saying, Jeremiah, you're right, because you can see that it's definitely not this attitude, not this feeling that you could possibly see around Monza where maybe they had given up on Max. And we talked about this on a couple shows ago, saying that international break was probably the perfect timing for Juventus and its players. The guys got to just leave, go on international duty. The guys did well. Our players that went on international duty did well. Everybody got just this reprieve from one another, Max and players and Juve, and just got to get back playing games. They did well in their games. They come back, and they've come back with the hunger to make things right. So this is a massive credit to Max and the players for showing this drive and the attitude and the approach to make things right. And everybody's starting to say the right things. And they're starting to say the same thing as Max in the pressers and in interviews. And that's big. That's key. Because for a while there, even leading up to it, you would have one player say one thing and Max would completely contradict it, or Max would say something and the player then would contradict him. But now they're all starting to say the same thing. So maybe, just maybe, Max has completely shifted that thing. And going back to RB Comps' question, in terms of how Max can save himself, getting the players all on board is a big part of it. So massive, massive credit to him for turning that around. Because I will be honest, I didn't think it was possible to happen. Okay, but we'll see. We will see if he can keep it going, if he can turn around and get them going on a run. Okay, now we will see more Storm the Barn. If you guys have them, keep them rolling. Keep them rolling. Tom Camp, you have an Insta account? Absolutely. It's all UV Cast. Look us up there. Okay, we are there. Jason Panini football stickers. I got the Panini football stickers too. These are actual cards though. Okay, actual cards. And yes, what are you saying? Lovely. Betting a star, man. Betting on Chiesa, my man. Betting on Chiesa. But yeah, it's actually, I love the hobby. Okay. Just getting back into it, whatnot. I've wanted to for a while. And then Anthony, obviously very, very much involved in it. And it's just good times. Takes me back to when I was a kid and collecting all those and whatnot. It's just great. It's great. Got my nephew into it now too, and he's just jacked up and whatnot. So it's good stuff. Michael, do you think Agnelli will make peace with the fans? Yesterday we played in a library. I just want to see a good vibe in the stadium. Every game we play is an away game. So this continues to creep up. There's no way around it. Everybody can see it. In the match day live, Anthony and myself spoke about it a bit, and yeah, I don't see any way of it turning until you get the diehards in there that spur everyone on. Okay, the ultras, they're not there. The return or whatnot that we heard about, that was about a month ago. It was like 10%. That's 10% of what the curva usually consists of. And until Agnelli gets that right, it ain't going to change. These guys are the heart and soul of that fortress. And it all starts there. The banners, the flags, the drums, the chants, the singing that happens nonstop, no matter what the scoreline is. The rest of the fans feed off that. If you go to one of these matches, when the curva was actually in full effect, you can see the traveling fans, all this, whatnot, that they look at the curva sometimes, even if the play is on the other end, they look there. They look there for what they're getting up next to get everybody ramped up, to get things going, and the chants and it's incredible. It's electric. You have to fix that. Will Agnelli make peace with the fans? My fear, and what I said yesterday on the Match Day Live, that's my fear, Michael. My fear is that, number one, Agnelli won't give in. He will not give in. His ego, I do not believe, will allow him to get the curva back in there. I think, and my fear is that I think he would rather go almost a North American route in terms of support, in getting organized cheerleaders in the crowd to kind of spur things on or whatnot, or add to the atmosphere. You already saw a little bit of a gimmick type thing with the DJ there, Samo and whatnot, playing before the one match and whatnot. It is, that's just not it. That's just not it. I honestly, truly believe he would rather go that route before bringing back the Ultras. I don't see Agnelli ever bringing back the Ultras. The only thing, maybe, just maybe, if the stadium continues to be that empty in matches, maybe, just maybe, if the revenue continues to drop, maybe, just maybe, he'll go and make things right. But I highly doubt it. Do any of you see him making things right or making peace with the curva? I can't see it. I absolutely cannot see it. I cannot see it. Animesh says, curva or not, at least fix the ticket prices. Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. You can fix the ticket prices. They're up there. They're up there. But I mean, What's the difference? And I haven't looked into this, and I will. I will, so that we can continue, because this is an ongoing discussion, whatnot. But I'm curious where they stand amongst the other teams. So while we're throwing ticket prices and whatnot, I don't think we're far off of Milan. And the San Siro has a much bigger capacity, and they're not having problems sell. They're not having problems sell. So there's more to it than just price. There's more to it than just price, in my personal opinion, because we can't be that far off in price from Inter and AC. I don't believe it. And you've got two teams that are splitting that stadium, okay, amongst that city, and again, much bigger capacity, and they're not having an issue selling out whatsoever. I can't, it just can't be just pricing. It can't be. Can't be. Um Again, I just think a lot of it is that relationship from fans and the club. And yeah, the curva is a big part of it, but the performances are a big part of it. Performances are a big part of it. Spending money, whether it's deemed too high or even just fine, whatnot, people will think twice if they're not going to be happy with what they're going to see. And that's just the reality. It's a reality. But do any of you think he'll make peace? I don't see it. I don't see it. We got another storm in the barn here. What do you think of starting Vlahovic in a 3-man attack versus Milan? Then near the 75th minute or so, we bring on Milik for Dusan. By then, Milan defenders will be tired and change how they defend. I'm okay with that, and maybe trying to not empty the clip, so to speak, in terms of all our guns right out of the gate by playing Milik and Dusan at the start. But at the same time, if Milan is going to be depleted, I'd almost lean towards firing away with Milik and Dusan from the start and just taking it to them. So I'm fine either way, to be honest. So we'll see. Michael say, can Elkin overpower Agnelli and bring back the Ultras? The board could. I don't think they'd ever get involved in something like that, though. Just can't see it. Can't see it. Check it. Once Agnelli gets hit in the wallet, that might change it. Maybe. So Joe Cappuccino say maybe, just maybe, if it comes down to that, the financials and the revenue being lost and whatnot. So we just have to wait and see, everybody. Just have to wait and see. But again, we wait and see. Milan is the big one coming up this weekend. Champions League, we've still got work to do, but at least we got that victory. This was the first time going into that match that Juve had dropped basically 2 losses in their first 2 in a group stage ever, basically. So yeah, sucks, but we turned it around, got that victory. Still a lot of work to do. There's many that still just say no chance. I won't say that. Still, I'm one of those guys. Wait until it's mathematically impossible, okay? Because I've seen wild things happen all the time, okay? So, Milan this weekend. You guys know the drill, okay? Tomorrow, we'll have daily update video. Saturday is match day. So, Saturday, we'll do the match day live, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, okay? The match is going to be at basically noon Eastern time. So join us for the match day live. I'm going to do a live watch along for that one, so you can share the reactions live with me. I hope to see you all there. Okay. This is a big, big game. And the ones that have been taking in the watch alongs with me, they know that, oh yeah, I put myself through some hell there in some of those matches. The Monza one was painful, so you all got to experience Al, what he looks like after going through a war, because I was looking like a mess after that one. The Salernitana debacle. Look, there's still good times, though, okay? And I still say this. I'm better than any of the announcers on Fubo at the very least. Okay, so I will say that. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed the show. You guys are fantastic. I will remind you all, if you could please like the video, that would be fantastic. In terms of our merch, if you're looking to support the store or the channel and shop at the store that's tied into YouTube here, check it out. There's new designs there. One celebrating the epic moment against Inter from Higuain. It's all 15% off right now for the next 4 days. So take advantage if you're looking to support the channel there. If not, I'm still going to thank you all anyways for everything that you do joining in here on the live. I've been coming to enjoy these solo sessions with just us, you guys in the audience, and just myself. They're fantastic to do. I love them. Hope you guys all had a great time. Enjoy the victory, and we'll start looking ahead to Milan tomorrow. But for today, we enjoy the Champions League victory. We enjoy the Di Maria show and wait for him to finish his suspension in Serie A and then start to take Serie A by storm, okay? Again, as always, till next time, fino alla fine, forza Juve. We'll talk tomorrow on the daily update video, and then Saturday we got Milan, and hopefully we can beat the piss out of them, okay? So let's go. Ciao tutti.